Okay, hello Guillaume.
Hi Orsolya.
Can you introduce yourself and Cisco, a company that we don't really know, even though we use their products, I think, quite frequently?
Absolutely. So my name is Guillaume de Saint-Marc. I'm in charge of one of our innovation team across Cisco, working with our CTO and being based in Paris. I have the great opportunity to also lead our engagement with the ecosystem startup here in France and more broadly our innovation approach in the country.
Which are the major innovation axes of Cisco, and so you can present us the company?
So maybe a good way to put Cisco on everybody's radar is to say that approximately 80% of the internet traffic in the world is at some point going through Cisco equipment. So as you know already, Cisco is a huge infrastructure network provider. And we're also very active in areas such as video, data center, all the enterprise IT, enterprise collaboration tools. We've invented pretty much the telephony over IP, and we're also very present on the mobile networks as well.
So the innovation axis for all this field?
Yes, so the main topic of our own transformation and the main strategic axis for Cisco is what is called the digital era. So we have a portfolio of products and services which helps companies to digitize themselves. So what does it mean? A good way to maybe define digitization is that this is the new economy. So take all the traditional economies and digitize them. This is actually the hottest trend at the moment, and where most of the value creation, several trillions of dollars, is at stake worldwide. So really what it consists of doing is taking a traditional activity, a process, for instance manufacturing or managing a building or a logistic chain or traffic in the city or transportation, public transportation, take a traditional or creating energy, take a traditional activity and actually connect all the value chain of this activity with primarily IoT, Internet of Things technologies, so that everything becomes connected and therefore programmable. So without getting too technical, this is about pretty much applying a spray of programmable API on top of a traditional activity. And a good example of a programmable platform, which we are very familiar with, is a smartphone. Right? On a smartphone, we can develop applications. And this is great because large corporates such as Apple and Google and others have created this platform, and a lot of startups can augment this platform and create value on top. So the idea is exactly the same with traditional economy once it's digitized. And it's possible for large corporates to turn their activity into programmable platform and have startups come and augment whatever it is that they are doing, help them gain in productivity, help them offer better services to their customers or subscribers, and also help them be more friendly with the planet and run much more sustainable, run a much more sustainable way, operate in a much more sustainable way. Absolutely.
And how co-innovation and open innovation can nourish this innovation strategy?
So the way we look at this at Cisco is that open innovation and co-innovation, which I'm going to explain quickly, is actually part of the digitization. It's not an add-on, it's not a gadget, it's not a nice trend. It is actually fundamentally part of it. So the beauty of turning anything into a programmable platform and exposing APIs is that you can precisely welcome startups developing application on top. This is the open innovation. Open innovation is because these APIs are open. For instance, the entire portfolio of Cisco products is now equipped with APIs, and these APIs are freely available on a website called DevNet, Cisco DevNet. And this is how we run more and more hackathons. This is how we evangelize everyone who wants to create new businesses. Hey, you can develop yet another smartphone application, but if you want, you can also look at this tremendous potential of the acceleration of the digitization of all these traditional activities industry activities, and there is tremendous potential here. So that's for the open part. The co-innovation is also very natural for us because a player like Cisco, our portfolio of product, can do everything in general and nothing in particular. By that I mean that we are not building cars, we are not running cities, we are not producing energies like EDF or ENGIE or this kind, or Total or this kind of players. We are not flying planes, and so for us, it is absolutely vital, and also for these players, that we engage together and that we help them digitize their business, because this is what we do for a living. And for them, what is at stake is probably much more than the poster child startup versus corporate. So there's been a lot of talk about the fear of being Uberized, which I'm not denying. There's been some cases, and it is a possibility, but most of these large industry players are not going to be Uberized just by an application on a phone. But what is at stake for them is probably much more the risk of seeing their traditional competitors augmenting themselves with an open innovation and with the ability to work with startup much faster. And this is dangerous, because suddenly your competitor is moving much faster, is offering much better user experience and services to their customer, is much more productive, and this is the real danger. So it's a race to who's going to digitize and collaborate with startup first.
So co-innovation in between larger companies, open innovation is between large and startups,
Exactly.
large companies and startups. I think this collaboration is not always very easy because there are different cultures, different background. What advice would you give to multinational companies and maybe also to startups to create a very effective collaboration?
That's a great question. So for multinational companies, for large companies, I think that the first, there's a number of challenges, of course, going there, because this is also a change of culture for the company. So the first thing is you need to take care of the startups, because you can really damage the relationship with the startups and your reputation on the market very quickly. A large company obviously has heavier processes, is taking more time to make any decisions, and you can basically damage a startup, asking them to go from proof of concepts to proof of concepts, trial to trial, without
never
really,
give a real feedback.
So appoint a champion in the company, on the corporate side, who's going to look after the interest of the startup. Make sure that he opened the door, he makes sure that it's a yes or a no, which is perfectly fine, but it's not like you have to wait 12 months to get an answer. So appointing champions. Also, as much as the corporate develops these external-facing open co-innovation program, develop the inward entrepreneurship mindset, develop internal programs to make sure that progressively, absolutely every employee, not just in engineering or sales, but also in marketing and HR functions, all the functions of the company, understand that working with startup will be the new norm, and will be a new way to augment the activity of the corporate. So these are the kind of advices I can give on the corporate side. On the startup side, I would say maybe it's more like the classic advices of stay focused, know what you want to do. So go and engage with corporates who tends to have show maturity. Look at those who have these innovation program well structured. Look at those who are, for instance, exposing their APIs and already offering you to build value on top of their platform without any additional complication. So I would say look at the corporates, and they can be fantastic avenues to create business. They can bring you a lot of value. They can be a fantastic channel, go-to-market, but work with those who are showing signs of maturity on their program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Guillaume.
Orsolya.
Thank you.